Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of 247 DIY. Today we stepped out of the garage and we're here in the house in the laundry room hallway, which we started a bit of a remodel on. That was kicked off when we purchased our new washer and dryer. And unfortunately, because our old washer was very old and had outdated hookups, we've run into a little problem. So in today's episode, I'm going to be showing you how to install an anti-siphon valve, which hopefully could help you out if you're trying to hook a new washer up to where an old washer was hooked up to old plumbing. Stick around and I'll show you how to do it. Alright, so I've actually gone ahead and installed the anti-siphon device already. I just needed to install it just to know that it was going to sort out the issue we were having. So what I've done is I've gone back and I've just loosely fit back up the old fittings to show you how the old washer was installed. Explain why I wasn't able to hook up the new washer as per the instructions and the problems that resulted from it. So as you can see here, instead of an open standpipe, traditionally your standpipe for your washer, especially on new construction, is going to look like this. You can see there it has the open top and you simply hook your washer drain tube into it and it just rests in there like this. But on our setup with our old washer, it's actual threaded NPT hard fittings that come up from the drain pipe down into this 90 here into a extension to a 1-inch barb. And then this is just a piece of the old 1-inch drain hose that went down and back up to the back side of the old washer. Now, to hook up the new washer to a traditional standpipe where the top of it is open, per the instructions, it needs to be a minimum of 39 inches. Even to about the halfway point here of our hard fittings that come up from the point, we're only at about 28 inches. So in order for that to work, I would have had to move this entire utility box up about 10 inches, which I really didn't want to do right now. We are remodeling this room. I may down the road do that, but for right now, we just needed to get the washer to a point where I could actually do a load of laundry. So even though in the instructions, it did say, again, how it wanted it hooked up, it didn't necessarily say or give you any guidance on what not to do. So I just hooked it up the way the old one was. So this is the drain tube off of the new washer. I just threw some hose clamps on there and I hooked that right up there. And I just sent it hoping it would work, and of course it didn't. So basically what was happening is because this is all sealed up, once it drains the first time and the water comes up and out, water stays in there, and so it draws a siphon at this top part of the pipe. And what happens is when it goes to do the rinse cycle and it starts filling the basin, as fast as it's filling the basin in the washer, it just keeps pulling the water out. I didn't really realize what was going on at first. All I knew is it wasn't even getting to the rinse cycle. It was just kind of stopping and you were getting some flashing lights indicating an error, and I wasn't able to complete a cycle. So when I was diagnosing it, as it was filling, I went down in the basement, and then that's when I heard that you could hear the water going down the drain pipe, basically at the same rate it was filling the basin. So I knew that wasn't going to work. Did some research, found out that you can set this up coincidentally the way the instructions showed for a floor drain, in which you need an anti-siphon tee to go in line. And basically all that does, and you'll get a better idea when I install it here, what it looks like and everything. But basically what it does is it just creates an air gap so that when the water comes up and out, it doesn't let water out. But once the water stops flowing, it allows air back in and it breaks that siphon. So let's go ahead and move forward with getting the anti-siphon device installed, and I'll show you how to go about doing it. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to be doing is we're going to be installing this 1-inch NPT to 1-inch barb fitting in there. Originally I was going to reuse the old one that was there, but it just sticks out too far, and then once you connect the anti-siphon device up, we weren't able to move the washer back as far as we wanted. It looked kind of out of place sticking out that far from the wall. So I picked up this stainless steel fitting. Doesn't necessarily have to be stainless steel. I just couldn't find a traditional iron fitting like those, so went with the stainless steel one. It comes longer than this on the barbed end of it. This originally had 3 barb sections on it, but again, that was just going to push it out too much. I cut it down to just 1 barb. These drains don't drain with a whole ton of pressure, so I'm not worried about that. Once I get the hose clamp on there with that 1 barb, I'm going to be perfectly comfortable with just that holding that on there. So let's get this fitting into place and then we'll install the other parts. So as I explained earlier, I already had this installed, so I already have my setup kind of ready to go. But just to give you an idea, your Whirlpool kit, it's going to come with your anti-siphon tee here. It's going to come with these two hose clamps. It's going to come with a cable zip tie, and that's just if, like, say you're using a floor drain where you have flexible line coming up from the floor drain and it's all kind of loose and floppy, you can zip tie it back up to the back of the washer to hold it in place. We're not going to need that because this is going to be nice and secure mounted right here. And it's also going to come with two of these couplers here. Now, these are for if you have a wider drain pipe than what I'm currently using. So I couldn't use those. Basically what you would do is your drain pipe would go on the outside of this white rubber adapter, and your anti-siphon device would go on the inside, and your hose clamp would go all the way on the outside and clamp everything together and create a seal. Our drain pipe is too small to use these, so we're not going to be using them. So as you can see, all I did was I cut sections of that old 1-inch drain pipe from the old washer, and I'm just going to use those as couplers. Now, it's not too tricky to orient this. Just remember that the top piece here that has the 4 holes in it and the little rubber thing sticking up, that's the air gap, so that needs to point straight up. And then we're just going to install our drain hose. This I'm also not too worried, or really worried at all about any leaks. You can see it has these really nicely defined ribs on here, and it's a real nice tight fit up into that 1-inch rubber hose. So with an added clamp on there, that shouldn't go anywhere. So now we can go ahead and move the washer in to where it needs to be. And there we go. There it is, all installed, tucked away behind the washer, and we're ready to do some laundry now. So that's all there is to it. As you saw, it's an extremely easy process to go ahead and get this installed. If you stumbled on this video because it's the same issue that you were having, make sure to hit that like button and feel free to leave a comment below letting me know exactly how your situation turned out. And as always, if you're not subscribed already, please go ahead and consider hitting that subscribe button. Thanks.